Today we're going to see some vocabulary that are going to be very useful in your next conversation about compliance. Our aim is to help you navigate the complex world of compliance with ease and confidence. The terms we'll unpack today are loosen up, be strict, comply, on the books, under the table, and abide. Each of these words or phrases plays a unique and important role in discussions about compliance. So, are you ready to upgrade your compliance conversation? Let's start with loosen up. In a compliance conversation, this term refers to easing regulations or requirements. For instance, if a company finds certain protocols burdensome, they might request authorities to loosen up the rules, meaning to make them less stringent or more flexible. Now let's move to be strict. This is the antonym of loosen up, and it means enforcing regulations or rules without any flexibility. When a company is instructed to be strict with its compliance, it means there's no room for deviation. They must adhere to the rules as they are. For example, in a high-risk industry like pharmaceuticals, regulatory bodies may demand companies to be strict with safety regulations, emphasizing their absolute importance. So in a nutshell, loosen up and be strict represent two ends of the compliance spectrum. Remember, loosen up is about easing rules, while be strict is about enforcing them without compromise. Moving on to comply. This term means to act in accordance with a wish or command. In a corporate setting, when we say a company needs to comply, we are essentially saying that the company must follow certain rules or guidelines. For instance, a company might need to comply with environmental regulations or comply with standards for worker safety. When you comply, you're playing by the rules, meeting expectations, and avoiding potential penalties. So comply is about acting according to rules or commands. Next up are on the books, under the table. On the books means something is officially recorded or recognized. Under the table refers to actions that are done secretly, often illegally. For instance, in a compliance conversation you might say, "Our new policy is on the books, so all employees must adhere to it." Conversely, under the table might come up if you're discussing an investigation into illicit activities, such as, "We suspect that there are under-the-table dealings happening in our supply chain." Now let's move to abide. This word means to accept or act in accordance with a rule, decision, or recommendation. In a compliance context, you could use abide to emphasize the importance of following regulations. An example could be, as a member of this organization, it is your duty to abide by our code of conduct. Remember, on the books is about official recognition, under the table refers to secretive actions, and abide is about accepting or following rules. We've covered some great vocabulary today. Loosen up and be strict remind us of the flexibility and rigidity needed in compliance. Comply is the action, the obedience to rules or standards. On the books and under the table symbolize transparency and secrecy in business practices. And finally, abide, the commitment to follow regulations. With these terms, you're now equipped to engage in a more effective and informed compliance conversation. Until next time.